Hey everybody, welcome back to the Success Secrets Revealed live stream show with your host Ronald Couming, coming to you from right outside Boston, Massachusetts. I wanted to, today we have a great guest. We got Daniel Gomez with us, and he's going to come on and talk to us about some things that are just going to blow your mind and certainly help you achieve even greater success, which is the point of this show. I created this show because my radio show, which has 1.7 million weekly listeners every Monday from 11 to 12 on WCAP 980, is called Internet Marketing and Business Solutions. But because of COVID, they weren't manning the station. So what I decided is, instead of not giving back to the community and not contributing, I would create a live stream show, still contribute, and then just take the clips and send them to the radio station, and they can just put them in rotation. So everybody still gets a bunch of great quality information, and I don't get paid. My guests don't get paid. This is purely us just coming here to give you some info. And the sponsor of the show, before I introduce our guest, is my company, RCS Online Solutions. We help business owners and entrepreneurs, much like you, attract, convert, and retain your ideal customers and clients to achieve even greater success. At the end of the day, you can have the best product, the best service, the best website, the best prices. If people can't find you, they can't consider you, and they certainly can't hire you. So awareness equals opportunity. So now I'm going to bring Daniel on, and then I'm going to introduce him. Daniel's right here with us now, and you can see Daniel Gomez is an award-winning business strategist, corporate trainer, executive coach, and confidence architect. He is the president and founder of Daniel Gomez Enterprise. Daniel Gomez speaks and coaches all over the world. His passion is to elevate businesses and entrepreneurs to achieve their true potential through their training and coaching programs. Daniel, there's a whole lot more to you than that, but that sounds like a great place to start. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, Ron. How are you doing today, my friend?
Excellent. It's one of those things where you be careful what you wish for. We wanted the nice warmer weather, and out of the blue, we've been in the 80s. We went from like low 60s to 80s, and so now we got the ACs going, and it's like, oh my God, I love the heat, not the humidity, and you gotta love Boston, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a beautiful day down here in San Antonio. I'm excited to be on your show, Success Secrets Revealed. It's an honor, so thank you for having me. I'm super excited just to bring some value, bring some great content today, and I had a chance to talk with you before here a couple of weeks ago, and man, I just love your vibe. I love the fact that you love to give back, and that's the key right now. I think with everything going on in our country, in this world, is together we need to be just stronger together. And I think so. I want to thank you for having me on your show today, Ron.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for coming on the show and blessing our listeners. I mean, people, don't just come on the show. I mean, people are vetted, and you fit the bill. I mean, every person who comes on the show has something to offer. They have been there, they have done something, they have thought something. What I love, and there's so many people like, Greg Reed and so many others, and they talk about how you seek counsel, not advice, right? So if you want a mentor or a counselor or a coach, you want somebody who's been there and done that, because they can help you avoid the pitfalls. If you ask somebody who's never written a book, should I write a book? They're going to say, no, you don't know how to write a book. It takes too long. It's too expensive. How do you publish it? No one will buy it. Or do you ask your brother-in-law for financial advice? You don't do that either. So people like you and other entrepreneurs and business owners who have had success certainly can help people, navigate through some of the situations that they have. So thank you for your willingness to share with us.
No, I'm honored. I'm honored to be here. So definitely, and I love the fact that what you said. I think too many people. I read something today that really touched my heart, and we'll open up with this. It said, surround yourself with positive people, and he emphasized the word kick out the negative people in your life. And I think for many people, that's what holds us back, is we're in that comfortable place, and it's because we live there in that environment. And unfortunately, sometimes it can be a family member, and we emphasize the importance of getting an opinion from a family member, when in reality, if your Uncle Joe's never been an author, if your Uncle Joe's never opened up a business, if your Uncle Joe, doesn't have a IRA account or a savings account or a mutual fund account, then how can he talk to you about finances? How can he talk to you about business? And I think that's one of the big mistakes, especially, in our culture, in Hispanic, Mexican American, is, it's we are real respectful of our elders, and sometimes they mean well, but if they don't know, how can they help you?
Exactly. And sometimes not knowing, they might want to help you. They'll give you advice because their heart's in the right place, but not having personally experienced the advice they give you might not be as successful. It actually might hurt your situation. So good for you.
Yeah, well,
tell us a little bit more about you. Your bio was like 4 paragraphs longer than I read.
No, the main thing is I love people. Ronald, I love people, man. I love to give back. I love to add value, and that's what I do. And I do pretty much 3 things. I do motivational keynote speaking. I can do a keynote for a corporation. As a matter of fact, as soon as we're off of here, I got to book my hotel because I'll be driving tonight to Houston, Texas. I'll be speaking tomorrow in Houston to an audience of about 110 people. They told me, so I'm excited about that. It's the first bigger event. I spoke this past Sunday to a private corporation, to their leadership, and it was awesome. So the live speaking gigs are coming live here in San Antonio in the state of Texas. So I'm super excited about that. And then I do a lot of just corporate trainings on leadership, team building, and really on communication, because a lot of people, a lot of families, a lot of businesses fail because lack of communication. I was just with one of my clients a little bit earlier today, and it amazes me how still some of us, we don't even understand personalities. And there's 4 basic personalities that you really got to understand in business. And if you don't understand what the 4 basic personalities are, you're gonna miss just how a person is. Because just like myself, I'm Mexican American. You're a lighter shade of brown than I am. But the thing is, that's your DNA. That's my DNA. And our personalities are part of our DNA. And many people don't understand that everybody has a different way of doing business. And someone may come across as rude, but they're not really rude. It's just the fact that that's the personality, because they might be that high D or that driver personality, like I call them. And that's just the way they communicate. So a lot of business opportunities are missed because of that. And I go into corporations, I go into sales teams, and I help, whether it's a real estate office, whether it's an automobile dealership, or whether it's any put it this way, every organization needs sales. And if you don't have a sales process or sales procedures in place, you're not going to succeed, Ron.
Yeah, I love it. And it really needs, some people start their business from the bottom up, but true leadership, I think, comes from the top down. We had a Mitzi Purdue on yesterday. Now, her husband was Frank Purdue, right, of Purdue Chicken. But her father, unless you knew this, right, was the founder of the Sheraton and the whole Sheraton chain. And one thing she talked about that I found really interesting was that when he bought his first hotel, then he used the proceeds to buy 2 more, then 2 more, till he had 440, and they sold them all in 1967. But what he did is, usually when somebody is gone bankrupt and somebody's coming in to buy them, most people kind of like get out the people that are there and then bring in new people and try to change things. But what he did, and I found very unique, and I think this ties into your point you just made, was that he would call a meeting of all the employees. And now naturally the employees think they're all getting pink slips, right, or fired. But he's like, listen, thank you. Why would I fire any of you? You know how this place runs. I mean, I encourage you. I want you to stay here. Let's work together to make this better. And then the next day he would have a bunch of plumbers and carpenters and people coming in, workers, right? Electricians to fix the lights. And he didn't do that to fix the hotel. He first went to the employee sections and fixed their employees' rooms, their dining rooms, their changing rooms, whatever it was, because his position was, people will respond at the level that you treat them and place them. So I love how you said that. And if people really get it, it can make a huge difference in your company. How are some of the ways that you teach that to people?
Yeah, well, what you said is key right there. Is one of the things that a lot of young leaders miss is that they miss the fact that the biggest asset, the most important asset that you have as a business owner, as the president or CEO of whatever organization you run, your people are your asset. You need people, and people are the asset that's going to help you to take your business to the next level. And the moment you realize that you need to put people before profits, that's when your business is going to really skyrocket, because without the people on the front line, your business is never going to be successful. I'll never forget, I was running a multi-million-dollar dealership here in San Antonio, and we took on a venture that people said was impossible. The dealership we took over was losing $1 million red every single year. And they said, Daniel, why do you want to take that job? Because I was up for the challenge. I always think that your next greatest step in life is through a challenge. And I embraced this challenge because I wanted to grow to it. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, Ronald. But the thing is that I put all my people first. And as you show them appreciation, as you show them recognition, they're going to respond. And our engagement per employee, I would say when I got to the dealership, there was probably about maybe 35% of the employees were engaged. And once that they saw that there was stuff going, man, you talk about engagement going to 95%. People would come in an hour early. People would stay an hour late. They would work through their lunch. And I wouldn't encourage them. I would say, no, go take your lunch. You need to clear your head from this place. But it's amazing by just showing people appreciation. And it doesn't even have to be monetary, just a pat on the back saying, hey, thank you. Because a thank you goes so far that sometimes as leaders, we forget a simple rule of leadership, and that is just to be kind. And in kindness, that sows the seed for greatness right there, Ron.
I love it. And it really does come down to when we say, right, here's kind of like a catchphrase, and I really like it because we say put workers, employees before profits. And, that might be counterintuitive to some people, but here's the facts. These are the people who are your breadwinners. They're the ones who do the pick it up, put it down. They're the ones who create and send out. So when you put them first, what really happens is, like you were just saying, that by putting them first mentally and emotionally, they're going to do more. So you're actually going to make more money, and you're going to have a better work environment for everybody. So, it's kind of, people, you're not losing anything. You're only gaining when you put employees first. And just in life, period, you should be treating people with respect and dignity, right? I mean, that's just.
Well, and I think it goes back to this. I think it goes back. There was a survey that was taken of 10-year-old kids. There was 10-year-old children from India. And they asked this group of 10-year-old children from India, they asked them, what do you want to be when you grow up? And a majority of those children said, I want to be an engineer, software, right? Think about that.
It's India.
Well, then they asked American 10-year-olds, what do you want to be when you're 10 years old? And what do you think the answer was to that?
Firefighter or a policeman.
They want to be famous.
Oh, yeah?
They want to be famous. So you see the problem that we have here in America is that in India, they're instilling work ethic. They're instilling something great in those young 10 years old. And here, it's about taking selfies and about doing this and being or wanting to be an influencer on social media. At 10 years old, how does a kid want to be famous if they don't even know? Just think about the answer that they gave. It's because the reason I bring this up is because somebody growing up in that mindset, they learned it from somewhere. Well, guess what? The person they got that from is that their father or mother that's in leadership, and the lowest form of leadership is title leadership. And you know that over 50% of managers and supervisors get stuck in title leadership, and they have that entitlement syndrome. And you got to respect me, Ron, because hey, the title right there says that I'm the supervisor. It says manager, and we get stuck on that level of entitlement leadership, and we never grow from there because we feel entitled the rest of our leadership career.
Yep, I hear you. So what are some of the other things you do, your other services? You have a whole host of services.
Yeah, man. I mean, one of the great things that I love to do, Ron, is I love to go into business and just do an assessment of the business. And a lot of times if there's a bottleneck in the business, it's because of the owner of the facility or just leadership in general. And I say this because you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of times what happens is we're growing and we're developing and we become this amazing leader in that organization that we're running, well, then what happens is we come to a place where we feel comfortable with our success. And the moment you start feeling comfortable, well, you start to plateau. And when you plateau, you regress instead of progress. So I go into businesses and I help them really see where that bottleneck is in there. And I do a lot of executive confidence coaching, because if there's a problem and if the numbers ain't coming out right, well, but it starts with leadership. It's all with leadership. So I go into these organizations, I do executive coaching, really help them find out why are they getting stuck, because a lot of times we don't realize that when we reach this place of complacency, we stop doing the things that we did. And that's one of the things that I've seen, because if you're not progressing, Ron, you're regressing. And when you're regressing, you're dying, right? So that's one thing that I do. And then another thing that I do, tomorrow I'll be doing a training on diversity. So I love just doing pretty much, you talk about corporate trainings, I do leadership, team building, sales is a big one, communication, sexual harassment, diversity. I specialize in all that. And you don't realize in running multi-million-dollar organizations, all the things that you know. And then when you kind of step away, you say, man, I know a lot of these things. So, but the main thing that I focus on, Ron, is I love to help people. And I even do a lot of one-on-one coaching, because I believe that when you spend that one-on-one intimate time, I don't have as many one-on-ones like I used to, but I still love to help people one-on-one, because I think that's where a lot of that true transformation comes in. Because most people, if you realize this, over 90% of people in our country have never been reassured. And if you've never been reassured, you're never going to have the confidence that you need and the competency to be just that business owner, that whatever position you hold, you're never going to be that person that you were born to be, Ron.
Wow. And that's a heck of a statistic. And, probably rings true too. But how did you get into so many different arenas? I mean, you cover so many different areas. I mean, they're all kind of tied together in an offshoot. One feeds the other and one helps the other become better. But to become a master of like three, that had to have taken a lot of time and effort on your part.
Two decades in the automobile industry. When I ran the multi-million-dollar Chevrolet dealership, I only answered to the owner. And of course, I was the leader. I ran the whole department. I ran the whole agency there. But as a leader, I learned leadership there. Then team building, I had to build a championship team. I had to get people that didn't want to work together to work together. I had to build trust within the team. So that's where the team building comes in. And of course, communication. In order to build a team, you got to build those bridges. And I think that's where most teams fail, is because we don't learn how to speak that other team member's language. And that's where communication comes in. So I specialize in really breaking down a person's personality. There's 4 dominant personalities. You have your amiable personality, you have your analytical, and then on the other side of the squadron, you got your driver personality, and then you got me, your expressive personality. And every individual personality has its own unique way of communicating, and that personality has its own unique way of doing business. And when you master that, when you learn that, you learn how to speak your customers, your employees' language. Instead of trying to speak the way you speak as a manager or supervisor, you learn to speak your employees in the language that they can understand you. And then, of course, in a dealership, we're selling vehicles, we're selling auto parts, we're selling services in the service department, and sales is number one. And it goes back to sales 101. If you don't sell yourself, before a customer buys any product, before they buy any service, before they buy anything to you, they're buying you, they're buying your employees, they're buying your dealership, they're buying your organization. And if you drive up to any organization and there's trash in the parking lot, if the employees ain't pressed and clean, if everybody's looking like they're subpar, well then your results are going to be subpar. So you learn all these things: leadership, team building, sales, communication. You learn all that in the automotive industry, and being there for 2 decades, I'll tell you, you don't realize what you do, but when you take a step back, you're like, man, I did a lot of things, and day in, day out, that's what I live for. Because every day was the fourth quarter, and every day was let's get things done. My mindset was this, Ron: we don't have anything to start with in a day, so why not give it 110%? And let's make sure we sell as many cars as we can. Let's help as many customers as we can. Let's sell as many parts as we can, and let's sell as many services as we can in the service department. And let's get this engine rolling. Because if we don't ignite the gas, if we don't ignite that passion, if our employees don't see us pumped up to do something that day, they're not going to do it. And a lot of leaders, they get comfortable in that. And say you're making $250,000 as a general manager, or you're making $500,000 as a general manager, and your living expenses are way less than that. Well, you don't give 100% because you know that you can live if your dealership only makes a certain amount of quota. And that's where a lot of organizations fail, because they don't strive for that next level. And a good example is this, is that sometimes you got to change the quarterback. And it's very, and I'm glad I'm talking to you because you're in Boston and you're going to understand what I'm going to say. Many times when I go into these organizations, I say this. Some owners don't want to hear it. I said, you need a new leader. Look, what do you mean? I've had Jim Bob for 22 years, and that's the problem. Because the problem is you get comfortable with a certain style of leadership, of management in your organization, and that particular manager is not going to get you to the next level where you want to go.
Exactly.
And just because we got comfortable with them, we think that he's going to be that superstar, and that's a big mistake, because the New England Patriots, where you're at, many times they were knocking on the door with a great quarterback, and I'll say he was great, Bledsoe. He got him to the Super Bowl, but they never won the Super Bowl with Bledsoe. And they had to make the decision, what am I going to do? Because Bledsoe got hurt. They put in Tom Brady, and the rest is history. And that's a great example of when you take a great leader like Bledsoe was, but you put in a superstar like Brady, and boom, next thing you know, you got Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. And we're not knocking that Bledsoe was a bad quarterback. We're just saying he wasn't that caliber. He wasn't going to take to the next level. And so many times we have somebody in leadership in our organization, and he's not Bledsoe, and we're comfortable with them, and maybe we became close friends, which is okay. But the thing is, if you want to make that higher revenue, if you want to go from making $1 million in revenue a year to 5 million, if you don't see that potential in that manager that you have in place, well, then maybe you need to make a switch. And not that you're going to fire him, but maybe just put him in a different position. And that's where most business owners fail, right there, Ronald.
Yep. To me, that's amazing. I like that very much, and I lived through that. And the other thing with Brady was he sat on the bench. He never was a starter for the Patriots, and it was unheard of with that when the starter goes out. When he gets healthy, he takes back over. But you're right. They made a call that whatever gets you in business, whatever gets you to the level you're at now, won't get you to the next level, because it's just not the same, whether it's the amount of effort, the amount of skill set, the amount of time, whatever it is that got you here is what got you here. It worked. It's great, and might keep you here if you stick to it. But if you're trying to scale or grow or do something else, you've got to do something else. Can you tell people a little bit about your process, how you come in? You told us kind of like what you do, but how about a little bit about your process on how you determine what the issue is, and in some of the suggestions that you can offer people?
Well, it depends on the scenario, but many times what I'll do is I'll go into an organization and I'll have a one-on-one lunch with the owner or with the leadership outside the facility, outside the organization, and we'll just kind of just talk and get a game plan together. And many times I'll just go in there and I'll just act like I'm a customer, or just maybe somebody looking for a job, depending, like for instance, if it's an insurance company, of course I can't go and get my vehicle serviced to go buy a car. So I'll go in there and just kind of assess that we're looking at things, and I just sit back and really observe the communication, how people interact. Body language is everything. This is where a lot of people miss it, is because 93% of communication is body language. And right away, I've learned to pick up on that. That's something that I've really mastered, is you can tell a lot how a person is feeling and what they really feel inside their heart by their body language, because only 7% of communication is words. And that's where people miss it a lot of times, because they miss the other 93%, which is how do you carry yourself? What's the verbal communication? What's their gesture saying? What's the body language saying in reference to this? So when I go in there, I kind of do a quiet self-assessment by myself. And then after we do the self-assessment, we go in there and we kind of do some one-on-one with mid-level to lower-level management, and just get an idea of what's going on, or what might be that hindrance that organization has. And then last, we go in there and we spend some time with the employees, with the front line, because a lot of times You got your frontline employees, which see things from one perspective. Then you got your lower management to mid management, which see things in a different perspective. And then you got your high level management, which think everything's perfect when in reality it's not, because they're blind to it. So you have three different perspectives, and then you say, okay, well, what's the common denominator here? What is it that everybody's saying that maybe might be true? And then you just kind of do an assessment from there, and you just kind of do your action plan, and you tackle the top two things, because really, I mean, most organizations are not miles away from success. It's just the fact that they got to tweak one or two things, and that's what we go in there and focus on, and tweak those one or two things, those blind spots. Because every vehicle has a blind spot, and just the same way every vehicle has a blind spot, every leader has a blind spot. Because that means every organization is going to have a blind spot, and we help them see those blind spots to help them get back on the track. Instead of going 10 miles an hour, okay, let's get you back going to 70, 80 miles an hour, Ron.
That's excellent, man. And it's great that you have that system where you can go line by line, and how you come in, and they might not even realize what you're doing, but you're going to get a great assessment because it's independent. It's without people putting on their best. It's how it actually is. So good for you. We have like about 5 minutes left. Can you give everybody first? I'm going to put up your contact info. You're giving away a free book or 7 tips?
Yeah, that's a 7 steps. That's a 7 steps to fly daily. It all starts with mindset. It doesn't matter what position you held in an organization. You have to have a great attitude, and without a great attitude, you're never going to be everything you got to be. And I'm a big believer. The moment I started really just paying attention to what I was doing almost 18 years ago in personal growth, I developed a morning routine. And this 7 steps is a free training that you're going to get to help you to get your steps in order. And it's gonna tell you, first of all, to really tell yourself that you love yourself and believe in yourself, because most grown men, Ron, have never told themselves that they love themselves.
Yep.
And that they believe in themselves. And you can't expect anybody to love and believe in you if you don't love and believe in yourself. So this free training is something that I would sell, but since we've been in this Corona season, God just really put it in my heart to bless people. So it's a free training that's going to help you get your morning routine done. And it's amazing. I've gotten a lot of great response, so I'm really grateful for that.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, man. The listeners, I hope will take advantage of it. I know I'll be downloading it. You go through life, and no matter what level you're at, no matter how much you've achieved, you can always learn something new, a new tweak, a new just something done a little bit differently that will help you and the people you serve. So at the end of the day, it's a disjustice if you don't, avail yourselves of these opportunities to at least explore and learn.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was meeting with a client yesterday, and they asked me, well, Daniel, do you do everything you talk about that you teach me? I'm like, I do it every day. They're like, no, you don't. You have a great attitude. You're always happy. I go, I'm happy because I do my own exercises every single day. And I would end with this, is that every day, as a human being, whether in life or in business, you need to ask yourself these 3 questions every single morning. Because the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions you ask yourself, Ron. I always talk about that. And most people never ask themselves the right questions. So every morning, instead of worrying or being fearful, ask yourself, what's going to make me happy today? What am I grateful today? And what am I excited for to come my way today? Right? Plant those seeds, because when you ask your mind that question, it's going to come to you. So what am I happy about today in my life? What am I grateful for today in my life? And what am I expecting today in my life? And when you expect to succeed, when you find happiness in what you have already, and when you're grateful for what you've been given, well, then that's all those 3 things are the secret to more, to increase. And when you ask yourself those questions, your own subconscious mind is going to answer and give you the answers that you need for that day to focus on those things.
I love it. It sounds extremely effective, but the best part is it sounds so simple. It's simply 3 questions, answer them honestly, and then just go from there. Daniel, I want to thank you so much for being a guest. Is there anything in closing that you'd like to say to people?
Well, I want to say this. Right now, the main word I want to get across is together. Together we can achieve more. Together we can help our country. Together, the way me and you are here collaborating, Ron, together is the key to healing our country, healing our souls, and bringing greatness back to America. So nothing is carved in stone. and anything in your life can be changed if you want to badly enough. The question is, how bad do you want it? Because it's out there. And the moment you focus on the good in your life, the moment you decide to make a change is a moment everything's going to start to improve in your own life, because you're the master and the creator of your own world.
I love it. I love it. Daniel, you've been excellent, man. I'm so glad you came on today. And now you have a podcast or something yourself, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we just got approved here on Spotify, so I'm excited. It's the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. It's on iTunes now, which already I'm going to announce it today. I just got the report. I'm in the top 200 in my category, woo, in the country. So I'm excited about that. Nice. We just got approved for Spotify. So man, it's the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. We just released our new episode here yesterday, an epic interview with the one and only Alex Stern, one of the co-founders that they sold for $1 billion, Constant Contact. So Alex Stern has a great interview right now. And so we have 6 episodes that are live and running. And I guarantee you're definitely going to learn something about life and business on our podcast to really give you that confidence, that conviction, and that consistency that you need, Ron.
I love it. I see you surround yourself with the best. Alex Stern's a fellow Bostonian, a friend of mine. Been a guest on a couple of my shows. He's a great guy. So for you to have him right off the bat, I know your show is going to be great and delivering a lot of quality content to people.
Awesome. I appreciate that, man. And it's been such a great honor being on your show. I want to say thank you again, Ronald. And it means a lot to me for you to reach out to me. And thank you so much. It's an honor.
Thank you for what you do, man. You're helping a lot of people. You don't even know it.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. Hi, everybody.
Next time you're
Wait a minute, go ahead, what?
I was saying, next time you're in my city right here in San Antonio, give me a call. We'll go have lunch on me.
I love it. But you go to a lot of different events too, right? Like Habitudes, and you do different events, right? Secret Knowledge.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I go to a lot of different events. And then we have our own events here in San Antonio. We're having our Sticker Shock Speaking Academy here July 24th, 25th. If you want to definitely elevate your speaking career. And then we're having our women's conference on October 10th. 10, 10, 20. So it's going to be awesome. Those are the next 2 events we have here coming up for 2020.
Yeah, because I fly. I mean, right now we're all kind of on like lockdown, right? But I fly. I love going to conferences, both to speak, present, to sponsor, to just sit and listen and just come in, and no name tag, nothing, just listen and learn. Believe me, I love traveling and meeting new people because like I said, every time you listen and learn, you can serve and earn. You know what I mean? It's that order: listen, learn, serve, to earn. And
I love that.
Yeah. So I'll be seeing you at some events, Daniel.
All right, my friend. Thank you for having me. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Everybody, you've been listening to Daniel Gomez on the Success Secrets Revealed live stream show with Ronald Couming of RCS Online Solutions. Daniel is a phenomenal person. I'm sure you picked up on that. He has so many different traits and so many different ways to help a business grow. Everything from communications to actual strategies and consultation. So if there's something in there that you need in your business and you want to get to the next level and you're just not quite sure what it is holding you back, at least reach out and have a conversation with them and see if it's a fit. I mean, it's a 10-minute call, right? And what if, right? So again, this is the Success Secrets Revealed live stream show with Ron Couming from RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, and retaining their ideal customers and clients with various internet marketing techniques and methods so that they can get their products and services in front of the people who need them when they need them. Awareness equals opportunity, people. Love yous all. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.